Hey, welcome to We've Been Drinking MMA. We're doing the recap, breakdown, and highlights of the Volkanovski Makachev 2 card. And this is a fight. This was a fight between Anshul Jubli and Mike Breeden. Mike Breeden won this fight with all heart. He lost the first 2 rounds. He dropped the first 2 rounds, clearly, to Anshul Jubli. So Breeden had to go for the KO. And guess what? That's exactly what he did. He went for it and he got it. He lit up Anshul Jubli the whole third round. He was just landing punches in bunches. Everything just happened to be landing. Jubli, I think, got. Um, completely was unprepared for Mike Breeden to be able to land at that clip, at that rate in that third round. And so eventually, Mike Breeden threw a three-piece combo, and I think one landed super clean, and then he got one follow-up punch when Jubli had already gone down to the ground, and that was it. Jubli was staring at the floor, and Mike Breeden was celebrating. Mike Breeden was very interesting. I mean, I'll talk about round one just really quickly, just to sum it up, though. Jubilee was just, he was just landing punches and, leap, he just looked good as far as he wasn't throwing with too much power, but he was landing and he was throwing combos and things like that. And Breeden just was not reacting quite well enough and not fast enough. And same thing with round two. I mean, he just from the start, in like 10 seconds into the round, he just lands a big punch. It's just Breeden just never started the rounds right. But ultimately, it was crazy, man. In round three, Mike Breeden knew he had to go for the knockout. He started barking. He started barking like a dog. He said at the end of the fight with the interview, he said, "I'm from Kansas, and this is what we do in Kansas City." And he started barking at Anshul Jubli. And I think Jubli was like, I can't believe this is happening. The guy's barking at me. Like, what do I do? This is something you don't prepare for, right? Some guy's gonna bark at you. So he was barking and then he was throwing. He was barking more and then throwing more. And he was like, "Yeah, come on," and then barking. It was crazy to see. But because of that, I think it threw Jubilee off a little bit. I mean, all credit to Mike Breeden. Phenomenal performance in that third round to really go after it, man. And you're down on the scorecards. He was 0-3 in the UFC, Mike Breeden was, and he needed this win to stay in the UFC, and he won against an undefeated fighter in Anshul Jubli, who was 7-0. And there was some hype. I mean, Anshul Jubli was minus 550, $550 to profit $100 on Anshul Jubli, and Mike Breeden pulled out the upset of the night, definitely. And it was amazing to see. Mike Breeden just showed that he said and he got stopped in two of his three fights that he lost when he was 0-3. Two of those fights he got stopped in the first minute of the first round by really aggressive, great fighters, Terrence McKinney and also Alex Hernandez. But he said, and it does make sense, he gets better as the fight goes on. And when you get knocked out that early, it's tough. But when you fight a fighter like Anshul Jubli goes forward, but he doesn't necessarily throw power with his punches. He throws maybe some combos here and there, but mostly he's trying to set up takedowns. And Mike Breeden did a good job not getting taken down. That was the key, is that he stuffed the takedowns when he needed to in the early round, so he didn't have a chance of getting finished on the ground. And then in round three, he's like, "Okay, good. I haven't been sapped of my energy. I'm good. I'm keeping it standing the whole fight. Let's go. Let's go for it." And he just showed that he was the better, more powerful striker tonight. And it was great to see him perform and go for it. You don't see fighters like that go for it. So I'm a huge fan of Mike Breeden now. The guy just showed his heart, and he showed it to the world that he is a force. When you give him a fighter who's on his level and not way ahead of him as far as ranking, give him someone on his level, I think he can do just fine. So the guy had decent defense. He did take some shots, but ultimately did stuff the takedowns, and he looked great as far as the third round. Man, his boxing was phenomenal. And honestly, I want to rewatch that third round because it was epic. You know what I mean? And it was almost like a blur now, thinking back at it, but it was amazing. And just a fan of Mike Breeden, man. The guy was barking and punching. I've never seen it in the octagon before, and I want to see it again. You know what I mean? Hopefully he does it in the first round, But anyways, thank you so much for listening to this breakdown, and please like, subscribe, and comment for that YouTube algo. Thank you so much.